Hello, everyone. Let's talk about change. First off, not many people like change. The only group that likes change at scale are wet babies. But as we think about change, we have to think about what's going on outside our classrooms, schools, buildings, districts, organizations. As times change, so must the practices of leaders to establish a culture of learning that's relevant, research-based, evidence-driven, and rooted in relationships. Digital leadership is all about the people and how their collective actions aligned with new thinking, ideas, tools can help build cultures primed for success. It represents a strategic mindset and set of behaviors that leverage resources to create a meaningful, transparent, and engaging school culture to prepare learners not for something, but for anything. Here's the point I'm trying to make. Technology changes, society is changing, the world is changing. So must our practices. In order for technology and ideas to really take hold, we have to see changes to teaching, learning, and leadership. Little did I know that this sort of reality was going to smack me outside, right upside the face. I was traditionally against it. And, I thought leadership was really about position, title, and power, which is exactly the opposite. When we think about true leadership, leadership is about action. It doesn't matter the role that you have. It's about taking that action, but it's also getting past some of the roadblocks that we have, such as status quo, tradition, a mindset that that's the way we've always done it, or it's always worked. But in order to lead change in the digital age, technology will not improve every outcome. It won't improve every lesson. It won't improve every leadership disposition. And that's why it's so important to build such a firm foundation in what we know already works. That's why research is so important. That's why evidence is important to justify what we do. But the premise here is simple. It's not about throwing the baby out with the bathwater. It's not about totally reinventing the wheel. It's about working smarter, not harder. It's about doing what we already do, but doing it better. In the new edition of my book, Digital Leadership, I really focus on the 7 pillars of digital leadership, the foundational elements to provide a framework for sustainable, scalable change that makes sense. It's practical, it's realistic. So let's look at pillar number 1, something we can all relate to, and that really is the heart of what we do, learning. Student engagement, learning outcomes. We must ensure that pedagogy changes along with technology and ask important questions. How are kids able to learn in ways with technology that they couldn't without it? How are kids empowered to not just think, but apply their thinking in relevant and meaningful ways? And this whole first pillar is really about taking a critical lens to our practice. We know what works in terms of good instruction, but good instruction, what the teacher does, has to lead to good learning, what the student does. So there's a lot of things that we have to focus on. But again, those 2 questions, are kids thinking? How are they applying their thinking? Do they know why they're learning this? Do they know how they'll use this learning outside of school, not just what they learned? Pillar number 2, is about learning spaces and environments. When we think about change, do we want to learn in the same classrooms as all of our kids? Do we want to learn under the same conditions as all of our kids? When we think about change in the real world, it's about looking at how we use research to redesign spaces to make it more reflective of the real world, but also to emulate the conditions that our kids will learn, work, and live in outside of school. It's not just about putting in fancy furniture, having kids be comfortable and choice. It's about making sure that the pedagogy changes along with the space. It's about implementing one-to-one, bring your own device, and maker spaces with fidelity. So again, that it really focuses on kids thinking. Pillar number 3 is professional learning, our own professional learning. We can all make 15 minutes a day to learn and get better. A famous quote from over 100 people is, if you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. Technology today, leading in the digital age, is about making that 15 minutes, connecting with like-minded educators, and learning from the best, those people that are doing it, using social media anytime, anywhere, with anyone we want to get resources, ideas, strategies, feedback, ask questions, answer questions, and just see what everyone else is doing. Those first 3 elements of leading change in the digital age are all about improving the work. And and we can always grow and improve. Then it's about sharing the work. Pillar number 4, communication. We want to get our stakeholders involved, parents, community members, businesses. We got to meet them in the spaces they're at. Use two-way means of communication, a multifaceted approach to get that information out there in timely ways. Pillar number 5, public relations. If you don't tell your story, someone else will. In the digital age, do you want people to define you, your school, your work? We're proud of our work. We have amazing things going on in schools, so why would we not want to use digital tools to showcase what we're doing without technology, or what we're doing with technology? Listen, we got to control the narrative, everybody. And the best way to control and change the narrative is to be proactive in taking control of our public relations. Pillar number 6, branding. Some people, oh, branding, it's not a part of school. I get that. Oh, it's business. It shouldn't have any role. Why are we talking about it? Because it's a reality. You know, in the animal world, it's eat or be eaten. In the human world, it's define or be defined. Don't let people create the identity for you. If people are posting more than you, sharing more than you, being more vocal, it takes one crazy parent with a smartphone to ruin your identity. Prove the work, share the work, create a positive brand presence. And finally, leading change in the digital age is about creating opportunity. Pillar number 7, opportunity for our kids, for our teachers, for administrators, for our community. When you improve the work and share the work, when you connect with educators, when you show what actually works, that's practical, that's aligned to the challenges, the real challenges that schools face. When you show that success, people take notice. Maybe it's media coverage. Maybe it's free technology. Maybe it's off-campus learning experiences for your kids. Leading change in the digital age, again, doesn't have to be about reinventing the wheel, ladies and gentlemen. We're already doing amazing work. Take that critical lens. Think about how we can constantly get better. Reflect. Learn how to unlearn and relearn. Bounce ideas off other people. And hopefully, hey, you know, my new book has just dropped, Digital Leadership, 2nd edition. Hopefully you'll check it out. It goes into these elements so much more detail. Thanks, everybody.